and Impact Africa Television, IATV. I am Adefemi Makpaderon, welcoming you on behalf of my colleague, Anoluwapo Omarinde. Anu.
A very good morning to you, Femi. It's indeed a wet morning, and I think it rained across the country.
Yes, it rained indeed across the country, because monitors from even Abuja confirmed that it rained there heavily this morning. On Insight, we look at the Nigerian nation, and we try to answer some salient questions about our existence as a country since the amalgamation of 1914. Was the amalgamation in the best interest of all the parties involved? What was the motive for the amalgamation? And since the amalgamation occurred, what has been achieved? Prior to Nigeria's independence in 1960, our founding fathers recognized our diversities, but rather than understanding each other, we glossed over these differences, believing that with the passage of time, we will understand each other better by and by. Have we really understood ourselves better? 64 years after independence, what is the missing link in making Nigeria a great nation? What is the problem with Nigeria? That we have not seen ourselves as Nigerians. Rather, we prefer seeing ourselves as Yorubas, Igbos, or Hausas, or Fulanis. While growing up, I lived with my grandparents. And I remember that my grandfather usually took me along to one of his friends who was a blacksmith. And I was always fascinated seeing this man at work with some of his assistants, working on the fire, working on the bellow, and he forging one thing or the other out from the metal he was working on. Continuously, he would beat on that metal and on one spot until he got the perfect thing that he wanted. And so it is that a blacksmith will create something from beating on a spot on the metal. And that is exactly what we are doing on Insight. You know that in the last few weeks, we've been talking about having a better Nigeria, and understanding the fact that a better Nigeria is indeed possible. We will continually beat on this particular spot. No wonder the Yorubas say that that is, if a blacksmith continuously hits on one spot, he wants to take something out of it. And also, it is on this program Insight that we try to bring into focus some of those things that happened in the past, and that is where we are driving at. And you just must be a part of what we are trying to create something. We are trying to make a new Nigeria. Last week we looked at in passing at the invasion of the Oyo State House of Assembly by some people who have been described as misguided. These were those who wanted to, by force as it were, create the Yoruba nation. And ever since then, so much has happened. While some of those who invaded the House of Assembly have been arrested, the prime movers who perhaps instigated it are underground. After all, the Yorubas will say, if a leaf dances on the water, the drummers are somewhere. Who are the brains behind this ill-advised move? Is the plan really more than what was seen? Again, when there are agitations born out of discontent with bad governance, then are there not greater programs ahead? If the Southwest is restive and the Southeast is restive, with the South-South and the Middle Belt calling for self-determination, is it not time for government to sit down to take a serious look, a holistic look as it were, at the restructuring of this country? And that is what we are trying to discuss on the program this morning. Restructuring of Nigeria, to be or not to be. Restructuring of Nigeria, to be or not to be. And in the studio with us this morning is the Kinowolabi Oladejo. You are most welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for your time on the program Insight this morning.
Thank you.
So if you look at recent happenings, some pundits, political analysts have opined that all of these are speaking to the issue of restructuring. How soon is this needed in Nigeria?
How soon? Yes, how soon? Let me answer that question by saying that should have been done some decades ago.
Not
The
only
restructuring.
this.
Restructuring. Wow. The whole idea of restructuring speaks to the fact that there is a structure
Yes.
which is not meeting the need for which it is created. I do not think there will be any doubt in anybody's mind today. 70-80% of Nigerians know that the structure we have is not meeting the need of the people. So, common sense actually dictates that if you are not getting the desired result, check your system. Normally, in a country, we want to look at how you can get stability, how you can get peace, how you can live together in harmony. The primary thing that you look at first, the first thing is your constitution. The second thing is your system of governance or structure. The third thing is the caliber of people operating these two. Right? So, how do we want to look at a constitution that very many people do not have trust in, and you are looking for stability? How do you want to look at a structure that so many people believe is not working? So that's why I say common sense dictates that we should sit back and ask ourselves basic question. Is Nigeria working for me? If it is not, what will be expected of me?
So how do we establish the fact that the proponents of restructuring are not agitating for selfish reasons?
No. I don't know. Maybe it will be safe for me to imagine that you should plan to live for 100 years. Maybe. I know most of us won't get to that. Very few will get over. But we still go. So no matter what you amass, is people looking at the ease in looting the treasury. Come on, I don't think there is any system that permits plutocracy the way It is being our done
Mm.
in
in
Nigeria. system permits it. So quite a lot of people, right, have put their mouth, the proboscis, into the blood of Nigeria, And sucking it.
and they are sucking it. And you know that in so many occasions, very many people will not be able to dissociate themselves from such a lucrative environment.
Okay.
And that's why Yoruba people will tell you that the fly that does not have sense will go to the grave
The corpse into the grave.
with the corpse. These guys are out there, I dare say, because of the ease again. The Constitution created God in man. The Constitution makes the president the God of this country. If you want employment, rather than going for vigil, why don't you find a way of meeting Tinubu?
Okay.
If you want power, you want electricity, rather than go to your Alpha, why don't you go to Tinubu? You want the road in your street tarred. You're not entitled to it, except the God says so, the governor.
So this same man, the president, has expressed his desire to restructure this country, but he's asking for time.
In Lagos State, about a month ago, he said, I will get this country restructured, but give me time. Our Ferry leaders met him last Thursday in Abuja. The same thing he told them, I would restructure this country, but give me some time.
Apparently, what you are saying is the urgency is not clear to maybe himself and many of us.
But you are saying that his party, APC, had been in power for quite some time. In 2017, they set up the Rufai.
I'm happy you are going there.
Rufai panel.
Because that's what I wanted to ask you.
To look at this issue of restructuring. But so far, nothing has been heard.
I've told you, when you have the proboscis of a mosquito in your blood, maybe you've been into such environment before. I have been. This thing will suck your blood and won't be able to fly. And we just there. You just pick it. Right? Because they don't know when to say no. They don't know when they say enough is enough. The basic truth is this. I was talking like this with somebody just a few days ago. And he said, I wish he can give me power for a week, that I will join them. Because of the ease with which you become God. Literature students will tell you, power corrupts.
Absolute power.
Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. Yes. It will take advanced wisdom, enlightened self-interest for you to be able to say, no, not my interest in. I've said it. Maybe you will live 36,000 days. That's 100 years. Maybe you will live 37,000 days. It's still 100 years. But you will still go. So it takes a reasonable man knowing that whatever I do, I will still go. What impact will I make? How do I make people around me comfortable? That is the question.
Okay, as Mr. Alaolu Abodmuloko joins us on the program, when the El-Rufai committee, they came up with their report, they were talking about devolution of power to the states. What has really happened since then? What powers have been considered to the states?
Well, as a matter of fact, I don't really believe in the word restructuring.
Meaning?
Because as a linguist, when you say you have structure in English,
yes,
they can tell you to restructure a sentence or a phrase.
Yes.
But as a builder, the way I see restructuring is just
to pull it down,
piecemeal something. Restructure. When you want to restructure a building, is different from rebuilding a dilapidated building that is about to go down any minute from now. When you want to restructure, you can work some hours in the foundation, then some pillars there, some beams there. And this is what the National Assembly is doing. And this is what people are recommending because they coined out the word restructure. You have re-engineering. When you talk of re-engineering, people know it's still the same setup, but you have to cross the T, dot the I, and do some things to make it work again. But the word rebuild is different from restructuring. I belong to a group. What we believe in our group is to rebuild Nigeria. The foundation is bad. People will say a house built with spittle will be destroyed by dew. That is later renewal. The building is made of sawdust and you are restructuring. Let us go to the foundation and realize that Nigeria needs rebuilding. Let us go to the background from the beginning. And the time is now. So what we should be discussing now is how to start, how to do it. It is not some people saying devolution there. How can you say you want to put a state police in the hand of a god, a governor who is a semi-god? You want to put state police...
Even the Inspector General of Police says he does not believe in state police.
That's because they are thinking along the same line. It's still the same 1999 constitution that has made some people so powerful that you can hardly challenge them. In fact, you cannot challenge them until they leave the office. That's what the law says. Whatever they do it.
They have immunity.
So Dikin Oladejo, let us now go to the brass tacks. Can Bola Tinubu restructure this country? Can his administration restructure this country?
If I'm to answer you very sincerely, I will want to rephrase your question. Does Bola Tinubu have a choice?
He has a choice.
No.
To be or not to be?
No.
To do it or not
He
to
has
do
no
it?
choice.
You say he has no choice?
Honestly.
Other than to restructure?
You heard what my partner here said. That even when you say restructure, we are actually looking at different things. You see, ordinarily, where is the foundation? That foundation has been destroyed. As bad as it was, 1960, 1963, let's say up to 1966, as bad as it was, each region still has some modicum of freedom, some modicum of authority to assert itself. Whatever we are doing, I think it was here that I spoke about Thomas Hobbes.
Yes.
War of all against all, which is the classical definition of anarchy. Why war of all against all? By nature, man is territorial. We either create territory, expand territory, maintain territory. But the moment you do not have a territory to maintain, you are no longer a human being. Even chicken are territorial. Please go and look at those rearing chicken. When you bring a strange chicken into their
fold,
midst,
yes.
they start petting. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Bring a cow that is strange into the midst of other cows. Every animal is territorial. So let's get it straight. The present structure that we are having has taken authority off the hand of the people. They have no say in what happened in their land. Come on, somebody will come from Abuja and tell me that he can mine whatever he wants to mine
in my land.
on my father's land. And there's nothing I can do. And you think that can be sustained? For how long?
But two things are involved. It's either the people want it to continue that way, or they are against it. Where do you think Nigerians belong in those two divides?
No. I've told you. Most people that I'm aware of that are outside government will say what I am saying. 80% of the people in government, because they add their proboscis in the blood of Nigeria, will only be wise after they leave office.
And they are in the minority, right?
Governance anywhere, they are normally in the minority. Less than 1% of you will rule you.
So I'm just wondering why over the years the same minority will rule in the United States, will rule in Great Britain. But you discover that the people are stronger, those outside the government. So in Nigeria, why is that the case? You even see,
what differentiates a policeman or a soldier, right, from me, is the training and the gun that he has. physically they've been trained to do certain things. Now, add to that the gun that they carry. It will be stupid of me to challenge any soldier, no matter the age. Because physically, even if I'm not sure whether he has gun or not, he has undergone certain training. The people in government have power. And like IBB said the other time, they don't only have power, they have authority. So a single governor ruling over 3 million, 20 million, whatever number of people
Has power
has power.
to do and undo.
Wow. And has the treasury, which is again more powerful.
And that restructuring will take away from him. Mr. Buguluku, let's look at this issue of, for instance, a case at hand. A drama ensued yesterday in Abuja. Former military head of state was on seat, Abdusalam Abubakar. Former President Goodluck Jonathan was on seat. Both leaders that have governed this country, whether as a civilian or as a military head of state, they believe that state police will solve the security challenges, confronting this nation. And security is one of the challenges confronting this nation. But the Inspector General of Police, the man on whose shoulder this responsibility of protecting, Nigerians' lives, said, no, that is not what you need. So how do you break even? How do you preach restructuring to such a person?
You made the inspector.
Yes.
The man is in the, like my friend here is saying that he has his proboscis in the blood. So it will be difficult to convince him. And don't forget that naturally we tend to resist change. Human beings generally, we tend to resist change. Especially when you are in the system, you think you are enjoying what is going on. If somebody tells you this thing can be done otherwise, you tend to disbelieve such. By having state police, the authority or power of the IG will be somehow diminished. He has a lot of power now, because we just called governors
Security officers.
The head of security or chief security
In their state.
Because at times they don't have authority to order the Inspector General, which is the legal thing anyway. They don't have the authority to order the Inspector General of Police to do certain things.
Or even the Commissioner of Police in
the
their state.
Commissioner, I will say, will receive order from above. So we've seen cases like that in Lagos State. So the Inspector General of Police is a very powerful person in terms of security now. To create state police, we will have to go to local government. Even in America, I think the universities do have their own police.
Yes.
So if you go to that length, and we've seen cases where these security officers will have to argue on a case. Some people will say when they arrive at a scene of a crime, they will have to sort it out between themselves. Is it a federal
or state? Yes.
So in such a case, which means the federal overall authority does not have absolute authority on the state, which the Inspector General.
It is said that
So that's the situation. They are in the system now. They are enjoying it.
Yes.
They won't want to let go unless the people. You are talking of the power of the people the other time. That in some other countries, where are the people more powerful than the government? It is their system. That is what we are saying. In Britain, some times ago, they changed their government about the prime minister.
Prime Minister, yes, three of them.
Can you do that in Nigeria? He has to spend, even if he becomes insane, and we all know that this man is insane, he will be there for 4 years. You have a way of patching up. You go and hide him in some building and say he's recuperating, and the wife will be, and the children will be using the power. So that is the system. That is what we are saying, that this system is bad. It's not working. And those people who are enjoying it, they don't want to let go.
Okay.
So must we fold our hands?
The argument against state police is that governors may misuse it. Because I remember in the past that one Dr. C.L. Adeoye, Laogun Adeoye, in the Second Republic then, was a medical doctor, was arrested in front of his hospital, and he was charged for wandering by the local police then. Well, looking at these things, the fear is there that governors may misuse the state police.
Honestly speaking, that fear is real. Because the system allows a God in man. During the days of Trump in America, Trump issued an instruction, and the head of the army or the head of security
Yes.
said he is loyal to the country, not to you.
To the Constitution,
Because
not to
you. So to the Constitution, where is the Constitution that I want to be loyal to here? The Constitution that makes you a god? Go and meet anybody that is being a governor. Exactly a year or so after leaving office. Go and meet somebody that is being a president. Go and meet Obasanjo. Go and meet Jonathan. Go and meet Buhari. And ask them some of these questions. I give you assurance, 80% chance that they will tell you something different from what they were saying when they were in power.
Okay.
Obasanjo was clamoring for restructuring just a few days ago.
Yes.
Right? Where was he?
Couldn't you have done it then?
Jonathan is talking about state police. I thought he was a president at the time. Right? The problem we all should know is this. It's going to be difficult for these guys at the level of a human development to know that suck whatever blood you want to suck,
and
fly
to
away, go and enjoy your loot. I don't want to be mentioning names.
You are in the financial world, as it were.
Okay.
The issue of resource control is germane to restructuring. How do we get around that? Even talking about derivation and stuff, how do we get around that?
What's the derivation?
How
do I come to your land and tell you that you cannot control your land? That's the real problem. You see, 1950, I will go back to that. When our people gathered in
Ibadan here
to talk of what type of structure people we have. Some people came up to say, no. Okay, let me start from the beginning. 1946, Philipson Commission
yes,
recommended 80-20. That you own your resources, we take 80. The center will be to the center, we take 20%. And that has been the problem from day one. It is simply unthinkable that you will devise a means of stealing from the people and you will legitimize it. Resource control is not supposed to be a debate. There is no debate about resource control. If you have your resources, manage it whichever way you want.
And where would it be the place of even distribution of wealth? Some states, I know that
VAT.
say there is no state that does not have one natural resource.
I do not know your siblings, but I know my own. Both the boys in my family, that's the men, and the girls, they are not of the same height. Produced by the same mom and the same dad. I do not know whether you have the same height in your own family. There is nothing like even anything. There shouldn't be. As God has endowed you, live your life. your wife is cooking with 20,000 naira, that's what God has given you. My wife is cooking with 2,000 naira. We will both grow and be healthy. Why are you interested in my resources? You want to call it insect eye? You know the meaning of insect eye? Ojukokoro.
Mr. Bogoloko, do you buy into this? Because that's another debacle that must be looked at. Those who,
those who have should give those who have not.
At least you
those
support.
who structure the country the way it is will tell you it's because at least if Gombe cannot look like Oyo State to a reasonable extent, the people there should breathe.
I think I use an analogy on this program, maybe the Yoruba edition sometimes, of a lecturer. The students were saying they want socialism, and they wanted to teach them a lesson. He said, okay, socialism means wealth distributed equally among the citizens. All right, let's continue and let's use an example. They did the first test. Somebody scored 96, 87, and somebody scored 40. I said, okay, let's distribute it. Find the average and give every student. The second one, the highest was 60, and the lowest was about 20, and they found the average and distributed. The next one, the highest was 40. Because if you say you want to make everybody equal, how do you encourage people to strive?
Competition.
Competition. How do you? Competition brings development. Some people will always find a reason of saying they are not equal with you when it comes to distribution of wealth.
Mr. Bogoloko, can you imagine what a Lagos State would look like in comparison to Yobe State if you allow?
Who says Lagos State, Yobe State cannot have something? So there's a state in America, they depend on tourism. Some people they depend on their hotels, their beaches, and they sell it
on gambling
or something like that, or gambling.
Yes,
and they are thriving.
Yes,
now.
that's
what they have. Maybe in Yobe now, maybe you have some natural places that encourage tourism, but they are not developing it because you have
the feeding bottle approach.
I want to come back into this.
That's what is the restructuring.
It's insulting to humanity for you to think oil, gold is resources. You are the resources of any nation. What resources made Singapore Singapore? Oil, gold,
human capital.
Is the brain of the people. Japan that you are shouting, Japan was devastated. Let me use the word was destroyed during the war.
Second World War.
And they have nothing. I have a brother that lives there. When he comes, I will tell you to interview him. He keeps saying he can't still understand these people. Their land is nothing. Singapore cannot grow the food they eat. They cannot even get water. Singapore is in the first world. Come on, you are looking at oil, you are looking at gold as resources. You are insulting God. What you need is human beings. And when you are challenged, you will see what human brain can do. Who told you that Yobe or Ibadan or anywhere need oil or gold to survive? To compete with Lagos or anywhere. Why we are where we are is simple. There is no reason for me to go and mine what is in my backyard. One, I need permission from Abuja. Two, even if I mine it, it's going to Abuja anyway. So why should I mine it?
So this idea of VAT is perhaps wrong also. It's one of the things that must be looked at.
I hope you know I know a little bit about this. Give me a single country that you know is a federation where VAT is central. VAT is a deceit for sales tax. Professor C.S. Ola, who was my lecturer, wrote about sales tax. During the days of Awolowo, that's what they were depending on.
Yes.
Sales tax. And where you sell your property is where you pay the tax.
And it's not necessary to take it up and distribute it around the whole
Are you the one that sold it? No, are you the one that sold it? Why are you interested? You said you don't want alcohol.
But you take the proceeds.
But they will drink to stupor in Ibadan. They will spend their money on alcohol in Lagos. And you say you want the VAT on it to be taken to somewhere, then all of us will now take it. And I've told you the definition of sales tax. I think I should qualify to say I know something about it.
Okay. So all that has been wrong with us as a nation is this unitary system of government as created by Ronsi then.
It's even going beyond unity now. It's ownership of the system. Some people just, it's not, unitary actually imagine that you are assisting. It's getting worse.
Ownership.
They have taken people ownership. Take it that they are the owner.
And you have to, when somebody says is the owner, you must forcefully take it away from the person.
No, you don't need to forcefully. Enlighten self-interest. We dictate that we can sit down and ask a simple question. What are you afraid of? What are you really afraid of? Poverty. If we say we want to restructure, that's why we are talking about rebats. We want everything. Let's cut the lake. How do you say that in English? I mean, let's start from the scratch. Let's sit down. I can give you examples and examples of
where
countries
they sat down and they broke
where
into pieces.
people don't even have 50% of the resources that you have, and they are living well. What are the resources in Switzerland?
Even in Israel.
What do you think they have in Israel?
Divine blessing.
Right? And I can tell you this, divine blessing. No place is blessed more than
Africa or
and
Nigeria.
any inch. Every foot of Nigeria is blessed more than most other countries. Every foot.
Okay. Restructuring of Nigeria, to be or not to be. That is the question we've been trying to address on the program this morning, to be or not to be. Will Bola Tinubu have the political will to restructure this country? And if we must restructure this country, along what lines are we talking of? 0916-104-7698, 0916-104-7698, 0811-052-6487, 0811-052-6487, or 0902-280-9257, 0902-280-9257.
All right, calling and let's get to know your thoughts. Hello, good morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Thank you.
I'm Deborah from Ibadan.
Madam Deborah, welcome.
Once you have an ambition to become somewhere, what is the purpose of the ambition? Awolowo had the ambition to govern the whole Nigeria. That was his ambition, to govern the whole of Nigeria, and not to give us peaceful governing. Because if you see the center is what every one of them is focusing on. Tinubu is there now. Focusing on the center. When the center do us good, when it do us good, it will never do us good because we know the products we have been receiving from that end. The next thing is to restructure this country. But Tinubu laid down his ambition for the second time to govern this country and to penetrate in the right direction. That is the major something.
Okay.
I'm talking about state police. They said the governors will not allow it to work. Only one governor will not allow peace to rest in his own state. And we want the center to hold everything together.
Okay.
The next thing is to restructure this country. If you want it to progress, because it's an art.
Amen. Thank you, Madam Deborah, for your time. Hello, good morning. Okay, Kindly call us back. The line dropped from your end. Hello, good morning. Thank you. Okay, well, welcome.
I thank God to my people and my father of IBR confession. Yes, I'm not a teacher. We are going to Lord. The way our manner, the relation of our world is so sorry. Allah, Baba, and what we do to get it out today. Yeah, talking about it's so sorry. Allah is so sorry. They are both their friends. From that angle, why can't you say we are needed to be branded? The particular image should be taking into focus. Tell about that one. Or a particular identification brand. So I'm going to wear. Remember, also only with our AIG, I learned that they had a million, they came together with the ex-president, Jonathan, according to the money they said. You know what Jonathan said? I see, he not only me at that time, he now about the national conference. Why was he? Why did you allow that to see the national meeting? He now said, he now give a different solution that our coastal territory to be guided, our territory to be guided by the
Oh, Mr. Stephen Oyedele, apologies. Let other people be part of the program too. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
I am Private Shitu from Ijebu.
You're welcome.
Thank you to the 4 white men in the house. I think restructuring is the way. But there are so many questions unanswered. I don't want us to lose track with this discourse. I think I want to believe there is a panel who needs to sit before the white men will come on this platform every Tuesday. I think this white men to do a sort of big issue. We must restructure. But that means the evils. I think they need to restructure. Now, if you take the account of the Bible serious, Genesis chapter 11, it talks about the whole world gathering in Palestine, in war. And God scattered their language. One man who was a Yoruba man took another woman. They were migrating from one place to the other before they arrived at the Navy. That is the first restructuring. Where did Yoruba come from? And with the sons of Oduduwa, the fearful animal who came from Maka to come and dominate us. And we see the sons of Oduduwa, the fearful animal who came and took the children and made them over the Yoruba nation. The same thing happened to us in Kwara State. They are there today again. We must restructure that reality.
Okay.
Thank you. And I think one of the reasons why the civil war failed, because Ojuku cannot go back to his father's estate. So I said to come and support him. He was running to France, to Ivory Coast, and then his family father.
Right.
Whose father told you, he was also his own father. Look at the number of money he was able to acquire.
Thank you.
All right.
Because of whose father told you, choosing his death to India. Iraq.
All right.
Thank you.
We have to reconfront to be the first restructuring.
Okay.
Good morning.
Thank you so much, Primate. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Fred.
Where's your
You're welcome.
I'm over Fred, I call you, sir.
Mr. Fred, welcome.
God bless you, sir. I've always said that we're in the jungle. You will always sacrifice. Why are we talking of restructure? If we have good leadership, not good within it now. Structure. If we do the way nepotism, bribery, corruption, as it were, decidedly
Okay.
Isn't it not the matter?
All right.
So, today, look at electricity. We are finding the effect.
Okay. And
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Fred. An appeal, please. There are many people that queue. Let's make our submission as fast as possible. Hello, good morning. Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Anthony.
But with his position, he can influence the process. And if he fails to do that before he exits that place, I don't think that way he will regret it even to the grave. He himself knows that this country, the way it is very wrong. The way it's being run is very wrong. No individual in this country, my choice is that rightful stand. We that does not know that the way we are happy, we are running this country is politics. I'm telling you, everybody knows. So the issue of restructuring is overdue. And the reason why we should do it, mark my word, gentlemen, the reason why we have to do it, if we fail to restructure, to look for that system that the person that created this entity and decided to run, to be used to run it. If we don't do it, this presidential system, this particular one we are running now, we need to restructure this integration of this country. Not my word.
okay.
All right.
We have to
Thank you.
restructure it.
Okay.
This is the time
All right.
Thank you.
to begin it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm Samson Akitayo.
Welcome.
Thank you. I think I told Miss Anthony came from my uncle, and it's from the angle of the fact that restructuring is long overdue. And I want to ask a question based on that. The Yoruba adage says of not doing the meaning, which means the wisdom of this year, the foolishness of next year. Since we ought to have restructured for long and we refuse to restructure, don't we think a time will come where restructuring will no longer be necessary? And it will be this unity that I think these people are afraid of. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samson. I can tell you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, sir.
Good morning.
My name is Pastor Kayode Adekule Esodisa
You're welcome.
from Morele, Nigeria.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the solution to Nigeria's challenges is in the hands of God. And it giving us the solution. It is with you, sir. Mr. Anu, Mr. Femi, not by the so if you want explanation on it, please invite me. I will come on to you.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I want to go and answer.
All right.
We need Nigeria, we need God's intervention. He has given us the type of restructuring that we need.
Okay.
It's with you.
All right.
Come on me. If you want explanation, come on me. I will come on to you again, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. I think we need to make an explanation. This that is with us. People need to know what is with us. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
I did I want to hear you. Mr. Obinka from Oludo.
You're welcome.
I think restructuring is long overdue as far as this country is concerned. Looking at the population of this country, over 250 million people in this country. So to control our resources and for easy governance, Nigeria is due for restructuring. And I think Tinubu has all it takes to structure this country.
Thank you, Mr. Obinka. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Allah from the road.
Welcome.
Yeah, I agree with your best. Yes, speaker. I want to ask two questions, sir. The first question is, this is
All right. Amen. Thank you so much,
Take one last
Mr.
one.
Okay, this is going to be the last call. Hello, good morning. You will. May we know your name, sir?
Let him introduce himself.
May we? John Uzo. All right. John Uzo.
From where?
Mr. John Uzo. Okay. All right, Mr. John Uzo. We have limited time, but some questions have been asked. I'm going to start with Mr. Bogoloko. Samson Akintayo asked the alternative to restructuring. That's how I'm going to summarize this question quickly. And of course, the resources from Elisha, will it be good
To take it to Osogbo?
To Osogbo. They can look at that. 1 minute each.
That alternatives
To restructuring.
alternative to restructuring is anarchy. And anarchy will not bring any good thing to us.
Okay.
So it means we have no choice but
To restructure.
or rebuild Nigeria as it were.
Okay, the
Taking.
The question is taking resources from Elisha
to go and develop
to
Osogbo.
develop Osogbo.
Because Osogbo is the state capital.
No, it's the same thing. We've had this under the rebate structure. The local government, right? We have 30% of whatever resources. So
They
if in your
generate.
local, in this thing, the state we have 25%, the region we have 25%, the center we have 20%,
20%.
like they were supposed to have since 46. Right? That's what we are recommending. That you that are going to be the victim of environmental degradation,
Yes.
right?
You have more.
You should enjoy more benefit from what God has given you. So Elisha people, Ibadan people should not be bothered that their resources will be taken to anywhere. No, at least 30% of whatever you generate, that will force you to go and develop your area. That will because if the resources is there and your chairman is misbehaving.
Okay, I think conversation will come on this particular issue next time. Because as we speak, even with 13% derivation, Delta State, Akwa Ibom State are among the league of states that are
Heavily
highest
heavily
in the country.
indebted.
So
We'll get there.
we'll get there. I hope we'll get there sometime soon. I am Anu Luakwa. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the program. Join us same time, same station next week. Apologies to those that are still calling. See you next time. Bye for now.
My name is Adefemi Makpade. We want to thank you for staying tuned to us. Next week will surely be a better time as we go further into this issue where we talk about derivation, restructuring, and is the political will there on the side of Mr. President now? Will he sacrifice his 2027 ambition for restructuring? Mr. Laulu Abogloko, thank you so much for coming. Dikin Olabiola Dejo, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And to our backroom staff who have done marvelously well to ensure a seamless production, we say a big thank you to all of you. My name is Adefemi Makpade. We'll see you next week. Have a very good day.